Sandra, welcome back to the channel. So I posted what I know is going to be a controversial TikTok short and YouTube short stating, and this is a hill that I am willing to die on, that self-diagnosis, and while I respect that some people will turn to that, is not valid for medical disabilities and long-term conditions. While I understand that there can be a long and painful road in getting diagnosed, guys, I have actually gone down that road of misdiagnosis because I thought I had enough knowledge to diagnose myself. And this is why I say it is actually not valid. And I understand in places like the USA that don't have a universal healthcare system, self-diagnosis or crowdfunding might be your only option. I do get that. But what I see it leads to a lot of the time is stereotypical cute behaviours, particularly in the online world, so on places like Tumblr, places like TikTok, where people are doing the cute, stereotypical movie traits of the manic pixie dream girl who has probably undiagnosed ADHD, or the person who's depressed, or high functioning anxiety, or other things like that. While they might have undiagnosed ADHD, guys, there is more and more and more awareness about ADHD in women and girls, autism in women and girls, and those online tests and doing the research might actually be promoting harmful and outdated practices. So if you're using organisations like Autism Speaks that promote applied behaviour therapies that are now considered to be outdated as well, there is another form of therapy, applied therapy, which is based on ABA, but it is less trauma inducing and allows stimming and allows for that person's disability. Now, I'm not going to lie, autism is a disability. ADHD, mental condition. It can be treated through lifestyle changes, diet, and medication, because we need to draw the line between a disability and a health condition. I have both, and that is for one very simple reason. In programs, in countries that have programs like the NDIS and care programs, they need to know where that funding's going. So if you start blurring the lines between a chronic illness and a disability, where does that money need to go? Who's providing the care? Who's providing the diagnosis as well? This is where for a long time, doctors thought I had a completely different condition to the one I had. So I have done a lot of about me videos, but I've never talked about how I actually ended up with the peripheral neuropathy. So I sought help from a mental health professional because I had a little bit of anxiety. I was actually forced to by a job network provider. I didn't think to push back. I was young, naive at the time, and they controlled my payments. They could breach me, I would have no money to live on. Thankfully, I was living with my parents at the time, picked up part-time work. But they did not understand retail at all. They forced me to see a counsellor, who then forced me to see a psychiatrist, got diagnosed with ADHD. Still seeing a counsellor and a neuropsychiatrist, completely different practice. They put me on Ritalin as an adult, which is very, very tightly controlled in Australia. I'm ex-pharmacy assistant, so I know how tightly controlled it is. Guys, as an ex-pharmacy assistant, we're not trying to breach your privacy with all of those what you perceive are invasive questions. We're actually trying to stop doctors from killing you, or potentially you from killing you with interacting medications. And that becomes important to the story. So I actually lost an incredible amount of weight on the Ritalin. My behaviours improved. We realised I did have ADHD, but that medication wasn't the right fit for me. We tried a lot of the medications, and then we realised they were actually interacting with my epilepsy medications. I was itchy all the time, and this doctor told me, put calamine on it. It's probably an allergy. Went to my GP. He was like, no, we need to talk to the pharmacist. Talk to a pharmacist. That actually had triggered a chemical reaction in my body with hormones that had actually, unbeknownst to me, sent some of my body's white blood cells into overdrive and were attacking my nervous system. So guys, you're probably saying, what does this have to do with self-diagnosis? Well, it was an undertrained counsellor when I was saying, oh, I think I've got a bit of anxiety. Yeah, of course. I've been in a new job for 3 weeks. Of course I'm going to have a bit of performance anxiety, a bit of imposter syndrome. But I knew what I was doing. I then went on to win awards for customer service in this role. I was actually at the table for pandemic awareness training. I was on the front lines when we had N1H1 threats. I had to medically retire in 2018, so I wasn't on the front lines during COVID, thank God. But guys, this just showed that if I didn't have that medical background, I didn't know where to go, whether that be a doctor, a pharmacist, or a well-trained mental health professional that's attached to a university, so doing research, attached to all the new research, knows is up with all the medications. I wouldn't actually have the peripheral neuropathy. I still would have the Sjogren's syndrome, but I would probably only have the glove and stocking typical peripheral neuropathy. So guys, this is why I am so anti-self-diagnosis. Because when you start treating the wrong thing, whether that's been diagnosed by a medical professional, mental health professional, or self-diagnosed, there is always going to be risks. And so that's why in Australia we have things like Ryan's Law, the right to a second opinion, and the right to request your medical records from a hospital or other treatment facility as well. And I have done that, and I have sat down with my current GP, we've worked out a current treatment plan. And guys, this did not only happen once, it happened twice. Because then I actually was complaining about the nerve pain. They're going, okay, there's some drugs out there that can treat it. I got put on a drug called gabapentin and Lyrica together. Those of you who are health professionals will realise what I'm saying. Guys, there is a very rare drug interaction with this one. Me being the unicorn that I am, or in medical terms, the zebra. Guys, it's semi-psychotic. Not a full psychotic break of evil of what you see in the movies, but it has taken me probably about 3 years to restore the relationships that I destroyed because of my paranoid tendencies thinking, because of these two medications interacting with my epilepsy medications. I thought I could live on my own. I wasn't eating properly. I was paranoid that my family and friends were out to get me, and it didn't help that I had support workers backing up these beliefs as well. So guys, this is why you need to have that balance in your life, if you have a diagnosed chronic illness, health condition, or a mental illness, to those people in your lives need to be able to challenge your thinking, challenge what you're doing, to be able to review your medications and are they the right fit for you. And guys, doctors are humans. They're going to look for horses, not zebras. In the course of that, we have discovered, I've known since I was probably about 18 with the epilepsy, that I have a pituitary adenoma and what they call a Chiari malformation. So mine, thankfully, is a type 1, so it doesn't affect me too much. There will be others who have 3 and 4. So guys, they are available as health-related support, primary conditions on NDIS. I just found that out. But guys, please, if you are in a country that has universal healthcare and you suspect that you have that chronic condition or disability, guys, there's other options in self-diagnosis. And especially when we have places like Tumblr and Reddit and even Facebook that are full of support groups that may not have the right information, then that is the problem. They may not have the right information. And if you're treating ADHD but you have anxiety or depression or a personality disorder or even temporal lobe epilepsy, that can be incredibly dangerous and harmful. And guys, humans, we aren't infallible, even our medical professionals. Exorcism has only just been removed from the DSM. Yeah, exorcism has only, ADHD moment there, guys. Possession has only just been removed from the DSM. They're calling it possession delusional disorder. Guys, for a lot of times, doctors will say that you are faking it. Guys, I have had that happen. I had 2 male doctors tell me I was faking it. 10 minutes later, I was in that hospital's ICU ward because I had had some seizures. I'd been put in for something completely unrelated, for chronic pain, seizing up all the time. We worked out I not only have epileptic seizures, I have FND. So I've learnt to manage that through meditation, biofeedback, and physical therapy. So as well. And so that's another thing that you might need to consider. So very new diagnoses, when you're looking for the stereotypical diagnoses because you suspect that's what you have, because Google, WebMD, Reddit, or Tumblr's told you what you have, you might miss something really important. So the thing that I want to say that's helped me a lot is a food diary, a sleep diary, and keeping track of your symptoms. Because something that I didn't think was important for me with my neurologist turned out to be incredibly, incredibly important as well. And the other thing is, if you have ADHD or suspect you have it, but you're tired all the time, please get tested for sleep apnea. I know in Australia a lot of doctors won't bill anymore, but I know you can do at-home sleep studies, because I know you're never going to sleep properly in a sleep clinic, but using a CPAP machine for me has been a game changer as well. So guys, I'm not coming from an uneducated YouTube content creator perspective. I have seen and personally seen the results of someone being misdiagnosed or ignored in symptoms. I'm not going to say that you don't have the condition. Misdiagnosis, and particularly in women, chronic pain or chronic health conditions, chronic illnesses, do get missed by male medical professionals. So being your own advocate is really important. One trick that I've found, especially with specialists that won't do what they deem unnecessary tests, is when they get up to usher you out of the room, say, no, I want to see your charting. I want it in my chart that you have refused what I deem as a reasonable medical request. I always explain to them that I worked in pharmacy for 15 years and that I do keep up to date with my field. I do have the delusion that I would be able to go back one day. And so that is the biggest advice I can give you guys. And as I've said, as I go more vlogging style content, once or twice a week I am going to try and do these talking head type of videos of explaining the hills that I will die on and why I have them as well. And so guys, if you're interested in looking into this, I'm going to encourage you to start looking into medical based courses. So guys, in Australia we have a lack of support workers, we have a lack of AINs, lack of CIANs, a lack of nurses. I know they are, and even a lack of paramedics. I know they are treated incredibly badly by hospitals, but guys, that is starting to change. So if you're interested in that field, guys, NDIS is out there. If you suspect that you have a disability or a chronic illness, go study in those fields. I know a lot of people who have become psychologists or counsellors or even working in the mental health field through research started out because they wanted to understand the way that their brain worked as well. And this is why I also prefer to use more direct terms of autism, ADHD, mental illness, and naming the mental illness, because using things like neurospicy, neurodivergent, it actually minimizes the struggle that person goes through. So guys, I will do a whole other video on wording and why I use the wording I do, because when I use the words higher functioning or lower functioning or hidden disability, I always get my inbox flooded with higher functioning is offensive or that word's offensive. Guys, a lot of people outside the disability community don't know what neurodivergent means, don't know what neurospicy means. But when you say that that person has autism, is on the spectrum, has ADHD, has a mental illness, has a chronic illness, there is a lot more understanding and respect and even accommodations given to that person. And the other one that I get a lot of pushback from is behaviours of concern. Behaviours of concern is a technical term that we use in the disability sector within the NDIS. And it's called that because they are behaviours that will concern the average observer. So things like kicking, biting, punching, yelling, disrespect of support workers and care staff, refusing to shower, refusing to eat, inappropriate sleep schedules, acting out, manipulation of others, attacking others, whether that be support staff or other people in the house, day centre or community centre. So they are behaviours that need to be recorded and supervised, because there is a thing called a positive behaviour support plan that can be implemented in these people as well. And guys, this leads me to a really exciting guest that I'm having on the podcast. I am going to have someone from the NDIS Quality and Safeguards Commission on the podcast. So we are recording this week, so stay tuned for that podcast as well. And as always, if you can like, share, subscribe, because come on guys, New Year's goal is to get the channels monetized as well. And guys, 80% of you guys who are my returning viewers aren't subscribed. So guys, if you can subscribe, hit the notification bell, and if you want to sign up to the subscriber only newsletter, or even become a patron. Guys, all of the links are always down below. I know I can be a bit slack in putting it in and then it does appear. ADHD moments there. So guys, I will see you guys in the next video, and I hope everyone has a very happy new year, because I know a lot of people in my life have been very supportive as well, but have had very tough years as well. So let's hope that this year brings you happiness, joy, and that you hit all of your goals out of the goal park. I'll see you guys in the next video.